Welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you so much for joining us for another segment. We're going to be speaking with Dr. Omar Sinno in this segment. He's joining us here as U.S. Medical Lead Rare Disease at UCB to talk about the positive Phase 3 results for Zilucoplan in Generalized Myasthenia Gravis. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, Dr. Sinno. Thank you.
Hi, Neil. Thank you.
I did mention your role at UCB. Tell us a little bit about yourself briefly, and then explain to us what myasthenia gravis is and its prevalence.
So thank you, Neil. I'm a physician by training. After clinical medicine, I moved into biopharma as an MSL at Amgen. From there, I moved into the startup world for a number of years, both in drug development, but also in data science related to rare disease. And I recently started, well, I guess it's not so recent anymore. I started at UCB in July of 2020. When I joined UCB, I was very, very pleased to see the commitment to the patients, regardless of population size or market size. I can genuinely say that UCB approaches development with really the patient first and the people in need first. UCB has been in a leadership role in the epilepsy space for quite some time, and there was really the leveraging of this leadership and understanding as a motivation to move into the rare neurological and immunological bases.
So what exactly is myasthenia gravis, and how prevalent is this condition?
Sure. So myasthenia gravis is a rare autoimmune disorder, and it impacts about 200,000 people worldwide in the US, the EU, and Japan. So additionally at UCB, we actually have employees who are living with myasthenia gravis as well.
Are some people more prone to developing this condition than others?
Yeah, so GMG has what's called a bimodal distribution. So younger than 50 years old, women are more often impacted than men, and over 60 years old, men are more impacted than women. And between 50 and 60, it's about the same. But GMG can occur really at any age in any race.
We're going to talk about this Phase 3 study, the RAISE trial. What was the study design for this trial, and talk about the compound as well?
Sure. So the RAISE trial was evaluating Zilucoplan. It was a Phase 3 multi-center randomized placebo-controlled trial with the goal to evaluate the efficacy, the safety, and tolerability of Zilucoplan in adult patients with generalized myasthenia gravis.
What is the current treatment landscape?
The current treatment landscape for the condition, and luckily the last couple of years have seen more targeted therapy come into the treatment landscape.
So what is the current treatment landscape for the condition?
So the standard of care for some time has been focused around non-targeted therapy, which is really to suppress the immune system, obviously the autoimmune component. And this includes corticosteroids and immunosuppressive therapy and IVIG and PLEX in situations where the patient is going to go into crisis, for example, weakness of the respiratory muscles, which can result in mechanical ventilation in the worst terms. Now, luckily, over the last few years, there has been more targeted therapies coming to the market, and many companies are evaluating drugs to treat MG.
So Zilucoplan, what were the key findings in this particular trial, and talk about their significance?
The key findings in the RAISE trial showed that Zilucoplan was well tolerated. There were no major unexpected safety signals compared to the Phase 2 studies. The top-line results showed that Zilucoplan met the primary and all key secondary endpoints as well.
And was there a wide variety of participants in this trial, and was it a localized trial, or was it spread out over several locales?
Yeah, there was a good variety of patients. In the GMG landscape, we can always do more to improve diversity of clinical trials, but this was a global study. From the safety side of things, we don't want to be surprised. So luckily there weren't any new safety signals, like I said, from the phase 2 trial. Nothing really that stood out. On the positive side, it was very nice to see that the primary and really all of the key secondary endpoints were met as well.
Are there any other investigational compounds for this condition in your pipeline?
Yeah, absolutely. So the other investigational compound is rozanolixizumab, which we are investigating the safety and efficacy of currently. In December, we actually announced positive top-line results from our phase 3 MyCareNG study. And this was evaluating rozanolixizumab versus placebo in adults with GMG.
Is there anything that you'd like to add about these compounds, either of these compounds or the trial, before we get a website where we can learn more?
I think there may be natural synergies between the two compounds, Zilucoplan and rozanolixizumab, and that is hopefully going to give us a unique approach across the entire GMG treatment spectrum, really giving patients, caregivers, and HCPs really the best options to suit the individual needs of patients.
Omar, I appreciate you joining us here on Health Professional Radio. If you would, give us a website where we can learn more.
Sure. The website is www.ucb-usa.com.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well, once again, thank you so much for your time this morning, Dr. Sinno. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
Thank you, Neil.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with Dr. Omar Sinno. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Health Professional Radio.